Hello. This is Victorine Mbongshu welcoming you to the show Involved Parenting Conversations on CTVSA. I am honored, very honored today with the presence of a mom, a woman, a daughter called Nandi. How are you today, Nandi?
Good morning, Victorine. Thank you for having me in studio.
You're welcome. This show is proudly sponsored by Profounder Intelligence Management Services, your training company of choice, based in Johannesburg. If you would like to get in touch with them, you can contact the number 011-346-8300. Nandi, back to you. You are a parent, and I'm so honored to have you on the show.
Thank you. I am a parent. I'm a beautiful 10-year-old little boy.
Okay, 10-year-old boy.
Yes.
Oh, wow. How do boys at 10 behave again?
I always say I'm fortunate. I don't think I quite know how boys at 10 behave because
Okay.
my little one is, he's very sensitive. So I have a nice balance between the rough housing boy who will climb trees, who will play
climbing
football.
trees.
Yeah, who
I
play
love that
football, but is still okay with hugging and kissing mommy, even in front of his friends.
Really?
Yes.
I must tell you, I've got a 10-year-old daughter, not a son. My son is almost 13 now, and I've slightly forgotten how a 10-year-old boy was. But my 10-year-old daughter is very mature, you know, like in the things she does around, everything. So last week, we spoke to a mother who was actually very emotionally attached to the to her daughter, and her husband and herself had to see the daughter go to grade 1. So they had that phobia of letting go of their daughter, you know, but she said it was a bit lighter than most parents. You are here today because you homeschool your son, and I would like us to create that, you know, that juxtaposition between a homeschooling mother and a mother who had to drop off a child every day in the morning at school, pick up the child every day. And before we talk about that, tell us, what do you do for a living?
So I work with Black Tower Consulting Group.
Okay.
I'm the CEO of the Black Tower Foundation, which we have.
Foundation.
Yes.
So there's a group and there's a foundation.
Yes.
Okay.
So for us, so the group itself does work in engineering services. We do construction work, and we also do events management.
That's quite good.
Yeah, but for us, we also felt it's always been important to give back. My business partner and I, our background is actually in development. We're project managers.
Both of you?
Yes.
Okay.
Neither one of us is an engineer or an architect.
Okay,
But
interesting.
we always say, give us a project and we'll manage it for you.
Sit back.
Yes, that's what we do. We manage projects.
Okay.
So because of our background in development, we've always felt it's important to give back. So everything from the construction end of things in rural areas or in township communities, doing things like sanitation services where they're needed, particularly in schools or in old age homes. Then we also feel that it's important to be able to allow young people to access education.
Okay.
So we give bursaries, we provide internship opportunities.
Did you hear that? Bursaries, internships,
and
learnerships.
learnerships. Because we feel that not only us, but the people who we partner with in business need to be able to give back to our communities.
It's quite interesting. I mean, I'm coming across more and more people who work with communities, but also who work with young people. I mean, the other time on the show also, I had a lady, Michelle, who works with youth today. I think you should try and also maybe hook up with them and find out what they do, because creating partners is very important.
It really is important, especially when you're looking at working in development or you have a foundation, because you can't do it all yourself.
But let's keep your foundation on board for now and talk about the homeschooling, which is the core of why we're sitting here now. I mean, you homeschooling this boy who is 10 now. How did the journey begin and why?
There's many reasons why we started. I had always wanted to homeschool, but obviously I'm fortunate to have my parents helping me bring up my son.
You're one of those people whose parents are still around.
Yes.
You're lucky. You're very
So
lucky.
my mom, being a teacher, was like, I don't understand what this is. So we did the traditional mainstream education for the first 3 years, but it didn't quite work for our family. My little boy is a footballer.
You mean first 3 grades?
Yes.
Or preschool?
first three grades. Grade 1 to grade 3.
Okay.
And I mean, my life and my schedule is quite busy. I travel a lot. Sometimes I will be gone for a week and I'm only home on the weekends. So it was quite, it was quite hectic for us to find time for each other. My son is a footballer. He plays for an academy. And he's required to travel for football. He's required to play sometimes matches in the evenings. So it just did not work.
It took away from the school, the mainstream schooling system.
Not only that, but it's also time for with each other, right? So then, when he was supposed to start grade 4, we decided that we're starting on our homeschooling journey. I mean, I'm fortunate I had been researching since he was basically born. Because a lot of my friends in the US also homeschool, so it's been a part of our lives. Okay. But obviously the context in South Africa is different.
I was about to ask you, I mean, what would you say are the positive elements in South Africa, in Johannesburg, to homeschool your child?
Well, we get to follow a curriculum that he's passionate about. Okay. I don't want to speak badly about the national school curriculum in South Africa.
Please don't. My 4 children are in that curriculum. but please tell me that the
so I mean, CAPS is not the very best of curriculums. It's content heavy. It doesn't really allow children to think outside the box, which I think is important for the world that we live in. So we're following Cambridge IGSCEs, which he will write when he's 14, and he'll have 18 months to write 7 subjects of his choice, which is what we're preparing for now.
So basically you're saying one of the biggest positive aspects is the fact that your child is not boxed in a certain way of learning and a way of learning. So he can learn in a flexible setup, but he can also learn in a flexible curricula.
Yeah, I think it's also like with Cambridge, it offers him more opportunities, not just within South Africa, but internationally.
I get you.
And I mean, we live in a very global world. I also say he's a global child. He's half Zulu and he's half British. Okay. So if we were ever to choose to go back to the UK, which is where his paternal family is from, he'll be able to slide right back in. This is why.
So basically, it could work for you and not me, who do not have a UK child.
Not necessarily. We have a lot of children in South Africa within the homeschooling community who are choosing to do Cambridge just because of how it allows our children to think, how it prepares them for the world, how it prepares them for university as well, because we know in South Africa a lot of children finish grade 12 and then go on to university and they struggle.
That is very true. And what do you think are the disadvantages? What mistakes? What regrets do you have taking the homeschooling route?
Well, how my son puts it to me is like, Mommy, the only thing I miss about school are my friends. Right? But then he'll also say, but my very best friend and a few of my other friends from when I was in school played football with me at the same academy.
Balanced.
So he's like, it's okay because I still get to see them. And I'm also making new friends within the homeschooling community, because a lot of people think homeschool children are not socialized, they don't know how to socialize, they stay with their parents most of the time.
I think so. I am one of those people.
No, we have, in some ways I think our schedule is now busier that he's homeschooling than when he was at school, because we have engineering, we have science classes, we have robotics.
Wow.
We're still trying to see how we can fit tumbling and swimming in his busy schedule.
Isn't that overwhelming also? A 10-year-old child studying engineering and all that?
No, it's interesting. I think it's also because my child is a kinesthetic learner.
Okay.
So these are some of the things that we don't always think about as parents, because children are different. You have children who are auditory learners, you have children who are visual learners, you have children like my son who's a kinesthetic learner. So the classroom situation is not necessarily the best situation for a kinesthetic learner, because they need to be moving as they're learning. So, I mean, for him to be able to be in an engineering class where he's moving around, making things, building things, that to him is how he retains information.
Wow.
You know, as part of his curriculum, we use football, which is what he's interested in. This is what we're working towards as a family in investing and making sure he builds a career around.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of learning is thinking about what is the maths involved in, kicking a ball and making sure that it hits the back of the goal post.
What is the size of a stadium? How long should you kick? I now get what you're saying.
So it's like, and also it's like things like building a stadium. What shapes are in a stadium? What shapes are in, are on the field?
Those are things that many football players wouldn't know.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. I mean, you've given me a lot of insight. I would like you to come back to the show because homeschooling seems to be more insightful or more exciting than most of us think. And most people today don't even know about the word homeschooling. I've learned a lot talking to you right now. I've always thought homeschooling is mommy is sitting on the table and the child is sitting opposite and they're busy doing work all the time. And I've always felt really, really bad for these parents and these children because I feel them trapped in an environment trying to even get away from each other. I don't know if you get what I mean.
No, I totally get what you mean.
So thank you so much, Nandi. It was a pleasure having you here. What is your parenting nightmare? I mean, I wouldn't, as an involved parenting conversationist, I wouldn't go without talking about a nightmare. What is your biggest parenting nightmare?
As my son always says, mommy's work a lot. So it's always trying to find the balance to be at matches and at practice. So it's not just the matches that are important for him.
Yes.
There are times when I can't do it all. And I'm, like I say, I'm fortunate to have my parents to fill in the gap when I can't. But those are always my nightmares. Having him say, Mommy, you were not there.
Yes.
And so I always try as much as possible. Fortunately, because we can travel with technology, my laptop is usually with me in the bleachers. So, but then there are those moments when I'm working on the laptop and he saves a goal because he's a goalkeeper. And then he'll then say, Mommy, did you see that goal? And I have to be like, yes. And then the only problem is if he asks for the details.
Oh, where the angle? What angle did the goal go in? You know what? My first book, Stop Complaining and Bring Back Involved Parenting, half of that book I wrote it in soccer pitches. In soccer, ballet, and gym, where I would be there waiting for one or two of my children to come out and I would write. And it actually has a lot to correlate with what you are saying. As moms, as parents, we can do it. We can do it. It's all about choosing to multitask. When you choose to multitask, you can do it. And I'm not challenging the parents who do not work on technology because it depends on the type of work you do. But take advantage of technology. Be there for your children while you're there for your work. Thank you again, Nandi. And just to say to you, you've been watching CTVSA. Please remember to tune in again because this show was proudly sponsored by Profounder Intelligence Management Services, which is your training company of choice based in Johannesburg. Their number 011-346-8300. I don't know who asked me to give numbers here. I'm not very good with numbers, but hey, let me tell you this. Kindly subscribe now. Down here, down there. Nandi and I, we just spoke about technology. When you're watching your children, when you're doing your homeschooling, make sure you subscribe to CTVSA on YouTube because we have more for you.